Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Caveman to Cosmos with me, Alpha Pi Omega and Byzantium. So the turn is 5613, year 972 AD, and we are one turn away from Clockpunk. What's new? Well, actually we played for quite some time. I think it was like 22, maybe 23 turns, and a bunch of things have changed. First of all, the foreign affairs. I managed to get a peace treaty with everyone, with the exception of Gilgamesh, who is no longer an option, really, and Mansa Musa, who is now so furious at us for raising his cities that he completely refuses to negotiate with us. That even after we have actually raised a city over here, and our armies are now moving towards the next one, which is Avdaghost. The captured people from the city, the captive civilians and the captive military, are being escorted by 3 horse archers back to our territory. So we're gonna raise another city, this time to Avdaghost, and I'm hoping that after that Mala is going to sign a peace treaty with us. If not, well then we're just gonna continue raising. There's Vadan, there's Saga, there are other cities as well. But we shouldn't forget that a couple of these cities, including Timbuktu, Jenne and Jard, are gonna fall into Greek hands. I mean, eventually. We'll have to see how it's gonna go. Now, the fact that we actually gotten so many captive civilians and captive military is good for us, because we have a new city. It's called Constantina. We built it at the place that I promised. Can you see the name? Now you can see it. It's in the location where we wanted it, south near the mountains. It is surrounded by a bunch of interesting resources like guinea pigs. I think we didn't have guinea pigs, to be quite honest. There's amber, rubies, coal and silk, and we are currently working hard on building some rudimentary things in Constantina. We've already built, I think... No, we haven't. Okay, so the ancient customs are going to be built next, and the community garden is going to be built next, after which we have the mining camp. We already have a supply train there to hurry that one up. So that's going to take care of that. Then next is forge and carpenter. As you can see, education is increasing, crime is dropping. Disease is looking like it's increasing, but the apothecarian has just arrived, so he's gonna take it down. The older city, but the second youngest... Oh, come on, Kim, what are you doing? Damn, that was a weird bug. The older city, Maximianopolis, is now at population 11 with 20 turns to grow to population 12. As you can see, it's doing really good. The industrial production here is 277, the growth is 45. We are about to get a town patrol here, which is going to help with crime significantly. Education is increasing, disease is unfortunately as well increasing. So after town patrol, we are planning to build a courthouse. Can we build some quick, cheap buildings that would reduce crime? Oh, an ice house and a sewer system. Okay, you do have the, what's it called, storage? Or is it here somewhere? And I'm thinking, nope, you have built that one. Okay, cool. So just the town patrol is going to be built next. Where's the town patrol? And then we're going to build the ice house, which is going to start reducing disease, which is fine. And then the sewer system is going to be built, and then you're going to grow. Okay, so quick change and correction there. Unfortunately, with 45 cities, I think we are at a point where we are really not in a position to grow any further, so now I'm going to focus on just growing up Constantina and our smaller cities, But in the meantime, we've already sent a bunch of food trains and other buildings to the surrounding cities. So you can see Nicomedia is now at population 19, growing quickly towards 20. Antioch is going to grow to 24. Iconium recently grew to 20. And I think we also sent some to Triadica and Theodosiopolis, which are going to be 19 and 20 very soon. Next thing that I wanted to mention is that we invested a bit in our army, and we built a couple of sloops of war and combined them into wild dolphins, which you can see over here with 21 strength, which for Navy is extremely strong. We still have a couple other ships. We have the Glory of Byzantine here, just surveying the northern seas. And Kerrigan is here somewhere doing a good job as well, though I don't see it at this point. Down here? Yeah, down here is Kerrigan. So we keep continuing with our discoveries. We've seen a bunch of islands. It's looking pretty good. I like this map more and more, to be quite honest. It's amazing. Constantinople, oh, that's another news that I forgot to mention. Constantinople is now at population 38, meaning 650,000 people live in our beautiful capital city. But we have been seriously running out of things to build, so it has been a bit of a hassle to micromanage all of the towns, to build food trains, food caravans, supply trains, and, a bunch of other things like tamed llamas, tamed horses. We really are scraping the barrel here. So I think that's all that I would like to say for now, because it is, in fact, all from the domestic things. Yeah, I think it is. So let's actually hear it for Clockpunk. So let's end the turn and go to the Clockpunk.
A clockwork heart can't replace the real thing.
Okay, so Clockpunk gives us a bunch of units: Clockwork Golem, Da Vinci Tank, Ornithopter, Repeating Crossbowman, and Zephyr. And it gives us a bunch of buildings as well: Automation Clock, Ornithopter Airy, Culture Clockpunk, Clockwork Workshop, Orchestrion Theater, and Step Reckoner Manufacture and Improvements Clockpunk, which we have 0 of. And you all require Clockpunk improvement. Or the culture? So the culture Clockpunk provides improvement Clockpunk. Okay. And what do we need for this one? Of course, Clockpunk, we have that. And of course, sulfur in city and in city vicinity are manufactured locally. Sulfur, huh? Genghis Khan wants to establish an embassy. Sure. Anything else? Rite of passage. Open borders. Sure, have 240 gold. That's fine. You are really mad at us, aren't you? Okay. Trebizond finished the food caravan. Do we have anything? Okay, we can build a supply train here. Yeah, we really got nothing new from Clockpunk, to be quite honest. Considering... we can build a Stelle. Chariot Workshop. Ancient Embalmer. Education is fine, crime is fine, disease is fine. Huh! You could build the Clockpunk culture here in Nissos. Okay. Well, we have to figure out where we're gonna build the culture Clockpunk. Okay, Patra can build it. It's gonna take 31 turns. Who has the highest production and can get credit card? Trebizond would be great for that, but can't. 348, 499. Arabian culture, huh? You can put a vintage wine. Okay, let's. Actually, no, let's see someone else can build it. You could, but. It's really. Maximianopolis could build it. Yeah, looks like. Who was it? Was it Patra? Yeah, it was Patra that had the most. Yep, okay. So Patra is gonna build us some Clockpunk. Cool. In 31 turns, it's gonna start giving us Clockpunk, and that's gonna be a nice amount of buildings. In regards to the vintage vines, we had only 2. Oh, culture Mittani. Pars Middle Eastern apple in the vicinity. Okay. I wanted to see the vintage wines. Yeah, Justinianopolis could build those. Okay, so you build me the vintage wines. So Clockpunk is gonna take some time before it kicks in. Bison has been found, but you can see that fundamentalism is coming in 4 turns. This is the courtesy of our friends in Mali, who has been raided and destroyed by us so much that we gained 167,194 research points from their cities and units. And it's not only fundamentalism, I think we have it in other places as well. Not commercial whaling, but there were a bunch of other. Yeah, perspective. We have 118,166 research points in that. Charters, there we have 57,631. And there was one more. Was it banking? Acoustics. 44,897. So they got some technologies that we don't. But considering the way we're really destroying them, we're gaining quite a lot of extra research points. So, yeah. So in 4 turns, I'll be back with fundamentalism. I don't think it's going to give us much to be happy about. Yeah, it gives us public intoxication and a bunch of world wonders, an inquisitor, and enables inquisitorial religion. Well, it's not a religion. Inquisitorial religious civic, I guess, is the. No, it's religion civic. Okay, I said it correctly. I was considering getting that one. We'll have to see. I actually, and that's one thing that I forgot to mention, I have a great prophet here, Friedrich Nietzsche, who could build us the Nietzsche's answer, or he could join the city, or he could discover the technology for us of fundamentalism. But considering that means literally giving us 4 turns worth of stuff, I didn't think that's the right one, so we're gonna wait for him till we get the fundamentalism, and then I can maybe get something much useful. Oh, you can do a lot of things for us. The Daimedao in Holy City. Shrine of Bob. You could find a lot of religions. And actually, you would spread these. But many of these were already found. So it's not going to give us anything. Okay, well, 4 turns to fundamentalism. That's going to be fun. And after that, Commercial whaling, okay, that's gonna take 16 turns, but yeah, it's not gonna give us much. And I'm kind of let down by the idea that Clockpunk is gonna take 31 turns, so we're not gonna see it anytime soon. Yeah, all the way in the next episode. Damn, that sucks. Turn 5617, year 975 AD, and we are one turn away from fundamentalism. What's new? Well, in the last 4 turns, I'll admit not much has changed. We've had a couple of cities grow. That is the most important thing. Most importantly, Maxinianopolis is now at level 12. And Constantina is a population 3, very close to population 4. We've actually finished a couple of buildings here now. Tannery is the next one, then the Apprentice Workshop and Carpenter. Considering we have all of our cities now at population 12 or higher, Constantina is the only target of all of our food trains and supply trains, so that's going to facilitate rapid growth. Now, I'm not saying I'm not gonna send a couple of them to Feodosiopolis, which you can see will grow this turn to population 20. Triadica we're gonna bump up to 20. Nicomedia and Heraclea I want to bump up to 20 as well, but all important... Well, actually, I'm saying all are gonna go to Constantina, and I'm talking about how I'm gonna bump the other ones. No, that's not true. Like, 80% of them are gonna go to Constantina, but I plan to also facilitate growth in these cities. Now, don't forget that, for example, Nicomedia needs 14,326 food to get to population 20, while Constantina needs 2,583. So it is definitely a better use of our resources to bump up the smaller cities rather than the big ones. But I'm not a smart man all the time, so this is a bit of a Wayne project that the inner cities around Constantinople cannot and will not have population smaller than 20. So Triadica, Nicomedia, Heraclea, Vicentis will all be bumped up to a better population. Now, after that, I'm gonna have to decide which cities I'm gonna be helping. It's actually kind of interesting when you look at the anatomy of our cities, that some of the oldest cities, and I already spoke about that, but for example, Ragusa and Varna are still at population 16, while some other cities are much higher than, and they were found later. So I kind of find it interesting that, for example, Laodicea is one of the newer cities. It's not that old. I don't know if we can actually see when it was founded. Can we see it somewhere? Yeah, we can. So Laodicea was founded at January 13, 3822 BC, and it's the second biggest city we have. While, for example, Nicaea was founded 16,446 BC, way earlier, and it's just not anywhere near there. Same with Falconium, April 17th, 6950, and still much smaller, about half the size of Laodicea. Well, no, but 2/3 of the size. But many of the cities are growing, in different variations. So while we bumped up all of them to population 12, it's going to be interesting to see which ones of them are going to be growing faster and which one slower. Now, I already know, for example, that Maxinianopolis is one of the cities that's going to grow rapidly because it has a lot of sea resources and the great resources around it in this area. Otranto, Nova Justiniana, the same. While other cities, the southern one, especially like Kallipolis, Ioannina, Constantina, and Isauropolis, are going to be growing slower because they don't have access to that many resources. Well, I'm trying to spread the farms to them. That is actually a voluntary choice that we cut down some of the trees and spread the farms and irrigation. Not so much in Isauropolis' case because it's so far away, but the city is great with the production. And we're gonna focus on this one and boosted manual. That's one of the things that I have in my mind, that we're gonna do that, because stretching farms all the way to it would be kind of hard, and I'm not entirely sure it's worth it. So the growth here might be fairly slow, but otherwise it's gonna be fine. So that's a lot of talk for, to say that I'm not entirely sure what we're going to focus on next, but I'm pretty sure that it's going to be something awesome. As far as education go, only 2 cities are sub 1,000, which is Constantina and Maxianianopolis. You can see that both of them are growing. Maxianianopolis slower because it grew very rapidly, but it's going to get there. We're going to focus on it. As far as disease go, it is under control. The worst cities are Constantina and Maxianianopolis, and you can see, well, Maxianianopolis actually isn't doing all that well, but I'm sending an apothecarian there to boost that, so it's gonna be fine. And as far as crime goes, I think we're absolutely fine. Yeah, the worst offender is Ludgo in Chandax, and we are working on that. Nova Justiniana also needs a bit of a focus, but you see that at certain points, I handle it. I'm trying to balance, rapid growth with making sure that they get a lot of education, low crime, and low disease. I wonder which cities are the most polluted. Constantinople has the most polluted water. Dorilaum is the next. That's interesting. Where is... Wow, really? Adi is all the way down here, but where is Laodicea? Damn, all the way down here. Wow, Laodicea is only 86. That's interesting. And ground pollution, Vodena has the most. Constantinople is up here. Where is Laodicea? Over here. 32, and actually with dropping. That's interesting. Laodicea seems like a nice place to live. Way less crowded and nicer than, I don't know, and this is tourism, right? Yeah, I think that's tourism. Nicaea has the most, followed by Trebizond, Patra. Constantinople has about half of tourism that Nicaea has. And far risk, highest in Patra. Constantinople down here at 205. Yeah, it's the biggest cities. They have highest risk. Some more cities actually have a negative risk. I wonder what that's... I guess that's from river and being at the coast. Where's Ludgovain over here? 17. Yeah, that's fine. So anyway, let's hear it for fundamentalism, and then I'm gonna check what our great prophet Friedrich Nietzsche would bring to us.
The main doctrine of a fanatic's creed is that his enemies are the enemies of God.
So fundamentalism doesn't really give us much, to be quite frank. It gives us a couple of world wonders. King's Crusade, but that one requires Christianity. Hellsmouth Sanctuary, that one requires to train Hell's Mouth Dog, but I'm not sure what religion that is. Is that voodoo? You must have a state religion. It must be in the city. Yeah, it doesn't... Oh yeah, voodoo wizards. Okay, so we will need voodoo to do this, which we don't. And Alamut is the only one that we can get, which gives a really nice bonus. Alamut is a mountain fortress in northern Iran. Its name translates to Eagle's Nest. This fortress was famous for its libraries and the legendary assassins trained here. Oh, that's where the Hashashins came from. It was destroyed in 1256 by the Mongols. Okay. Well, it gives us a couple of units, but again, I'm not entirely sure we'll be utilizing these that much. It gives us Crusader and Fanatic traits, and it gives us Inquisitorial, which is something that I considered getting, but I think we might not, because it's, in my opinion, going to require us to go through a revolution. So we have Free Church, yeah, and Inquisitorial. It gives us less birth rate of the great people. It was great to increase... Wow, it was insane to increase maintenance. About 1500 gold or more. Increases military unit production. Free military upkeep 9. Well, But it allows us to train Inquisitors, which is something that I wanted. And I know you guys asked me why, and the reason was that I wanted to get rid of some of the revisions that we... Sure, free trade agreement. Okay. I wanted to get rid of some of the religions that we don't want to have in our cities, like, you know, Shinto and Canonism and stuff like that, because I don't consider them all that good, and they're frankly bothering me a bit because I have to skip over them, and, you know, they're giving us traits. And we would thus strengthen our own three religions, the Hellenism, Druidism, and Confucianism. But I don't want to do that much that it would require us to change our civic and go for an anarchy. And what can you give me now as far as religion, as far as technology? Discover technology voodoo. Okay, I'm not going to do that. So I guess we'll have to keep you here. Or do I want to add you to the city? It would give us a bit of production, a bit of science, and a bit of production. And to experience the missionary types. Or you could build a nature's answer. Can turn free citizens into priest. Extra spread. You know what? Let's build that. It's gonna give us a bit of culture, which is pretty good. And I guess that we won't get anything else that would be worth from the great profit. So, +1 culture per city, so that's 45 extra culture, and then culture boost in Constantinople. You can turn extra free citizens into priests, and yeah, it's fine. Cool. So, I'll see you in 17 turns of commercial whaling. Turn 5634, year 989 AD, and we are 1 turn away from commercial whaling. One of the technologies that I'm having a bit of a moral problem with, but unfortunately that's the course of life. So what's new? Well, actually we now had a number of turns, I think it was 16 or 18 turns, something like that, maybe 17, between the last update and this one. So quite a lot of time has passed, and we've done quite a lot. First of all, Constantina is now at a population of 4. Now I refuse to send in more food trains, because here you can see 4 captive civilians and 2 captive militarymen, which are gonna bump up the population here to 8 for free, pretty much. And then we can start sending in the food trains. So for now, I have moved the target of the food trains to the coastal cities over here. We've also grew all of the cities in and around Constantinople, which you can see are now at population 20. I've sent a couple to Varna as well, and we are sending quite a lot of help to Ludgovain, Cephalonia, and Eudoxiopolis most of all. Now, Eudoxiopolis has actually become a city that I'm paying quite a lot of attention to, because when you look at it, Eudoxiopolis is having quite a little area to work with. So the growth here is fairly small, and so is the industrial production. It's literally a desert city. So I started sending in supply trains and food trains, which are helping with the growth. And I also shadowed a bunch of buildings that are going to help directly with the food growth. Though you can see that the boosts from each is 1 or 2 food maximum. So it's not like something earth-shattering, but we have actually planted the Precuper here, which gave us a new tile to work with. We moved the geoglyphs over here, and there's a new great farmer here right now, which next turn is going to start his work on giving us yet another tile over here. I am thinking we are not going to put the Precuper there, but we might look at peyote or something other that might grow in the desert. I'll have to look at what we could get, but food is of maximum paramount here, because the city literally is not having enough food production to grow much beyond population 20. So even if we build all of these, roasting houses and dried fruit makers and so on, it's only going to stall eventually. So we need to, there's a bunch of other buildings here that we could do, but it really isn't all that good. So Eudoxiopolis has become a prime target for us for now. But at this point, as Constantina is going to grow to population 8, we're going to quickly grow it to population 12 and then leave it to its own devices while we focus a bit on the desert here. Because, frankly, these cities are fairly close to Constantinople, but they're not doing all that great, and I would like to improve it. As far as the war with Mali goes, it is over. We raised another city over here somewhere. Here, yes, there was a Malinese city here, which we have destroyed. We've plundered the villages around it as well for a bit of growth. Some of them and some mines remain, but I'll be the first to admit that this was an insanely heavy fighting. When you look at our units, many of them are actually fairly hurt, especially the trebuchets were damaged really badly. I don't think we lost a single unit, which is a testimony to how well our army operates, but the city had a defense of something like 280% and was mercilessly butchering our units, so I had to move them back and forth all the time. Now, as they are passing with the Apothecarians, they are slowly healing up the army, but on the trebuchets you can see how damaged they are, and I already spent a couple of turns getting them from the worst already. But we have captive civilians here, and we have a captive military here, which we are going to work on. But in the meantime, the entire army is moving to Constantinople, because I believe that many of these units, especially the knights and bowmen and so on, could be upgraded. Well, bowmen, I mean the horse archers. So hopefully we'll be able to boost those and give them a new level in proficiency. Now we have someone here who can get a promotion, but I don't see who it is. It's gonna be one of those trebuchets. No. Wow, yeah, you can see, for example, the siege tower here was nearly destroyed. Here it is, the trebuchet over here. I really think that many units were near death, but I don't believe we lost any. Okay, so we can give you the absolute proficiency. By the way, these upgrades are lying. I really didn't read it, or it's described as combat quality superior and so on, but look at that, it boosted the strength of the unit from 13 to 19.5, so these are quickly becoming my go-to promotions. I had no idea that they were so powerful, and I think I gave it to one of our assassin units, though I don't know where it is, and its strength is now something like 23. It's insane. So if you're playing this, pay attention to these quality, because it doesn't seem like it's much, but it is really amazing. So I suggest you use it wherever you can. Anyway, as I said, the army is coming back. I'm planning to actually add a couple more units when we are there. We have strengthened the armies that you can see here on the border are just massing around here. Hunting units. We have the white cavalry here, a bunch of crossbowmen, but those are used for the border defense. So we are not going to interact with them. Instead, we can raise some extra units in Constantinople once we arrive there, depending on what we have. Now, what I would like would be at least another ballista elephant, or we could try to raise the war elephants here, which we haven't used. They are slightly stronger, but they cannot bombard, but they should have a decent attack against the city, and it will be extremely strong. So I'll have to play with that in between this and the next episode, but I'm interested in doing it. As far as stats go, we are now at nearly 3.8 million people living in our empire. We have a production of gold 41,742 is not that much. The gold production is actually not growing much, but manufactured goods is really close to 20,000. I'm especially happy that the crop yield is above 12,000. It's at 12,254. This really means that our population can keep growing, and I'm really interested in how industrial revolution and the farming revolution of the 18th and 19th century and the 20th century, of course, are done in the game, because the crawling increase in food production, which is much slower than in the gold and goods production, is very well simulating that it was really hard for cities and populations to grow, but it started to get much better in the 18th, well, actually even 17th century, and even in the medieval ages. What am I saying? But there were certain things like artificial fertilizers that came, and the change and mechanization of farming in the 18th and 19th century that really took it to where we are today. So I'm interested in seeing how that's gonna be performed once we get there. Anyway, as I said, Mali is no longer an issue. We signed a treaty, but I'm pretty sure we're going to have to get back to them. I'm still able to defend Athens. We had a bunch of attacks, but my units have done well. And what's also worth mentioning, Ethiopia has came to us and asked us to become our vassal. So I obliged, and I think that this is a good moment where we can give them and some other people a bit of a technology boost, though they really do. Ethiopia is not doing all that bad. Windmills, alchemy, rubber, papacy, vassalage. I think that vassalage is one of the first. Yeah, vassalage and civil service. So we can give them vassalage, for example. That's going to be nice for them. So let's pass them vassalage. I'm trying to boost the technological prowess of my vassals as much as possible. Russia, how are you doing? Aristocracy, athletics, geometry. Okay, you're gonna get the geometry. And Greece, you can get code patterns. Yeah, we have really good relations with Greece. Open borders, defensive pact, mutual struggle, trade relations. Yeah. So I'm trying to, grow them a bit. You can see that they are growing. Not much, slow growth, especially in the case of Greece. But if we ever get to the fact that we would take 2 or 3 of the cities, or maybe even 4 from Mali, I'm gonna pass them to Greece and have them control them. It's gonna be hard for them to prevent them from revolting, but I'll do my best. Actually, I could hold them myself, and once I can pay for it, and once they get into a fair better state, we could pass it to Greece. That could be possible. But as far as Ethiopia goes, Ethiopia is doing great. They have a bunch of cities over here, fair amount of them, and they're of fair size. Let's say Gondar is not their capital, it's but has population 18. Assum is. Well, Assum is an interesting city at an interesting place. You have lead, a bunch of, and no wonder it's not growing there. Most of it in deserts. And of course, Gondar, as it is, on the coast, is doing great. Well, okay, that's as far as we are concerned with our situation. I'm wondering if there's something. Oh, yes, we also are doing strides in the maritime power projection. Well, we have the workboats here as the ownership that you can see near our coast. We have the Glory of Byzantine here discovering, and we have a bunch of ships that we have built and combined into fleets, if that is the right way to call it. Okay, this is Kerrigan, so that one is not a fleet, but you can see that it's actually gaining quite a lot of experience. It's at 20 out of 26 for the next level. It already has Might 1 and Combat 3, so it's becoming quite powerful on its own. And here is one of our fleet, the Wind in Sails, strength 21. It has navigation too, which is really interesting. I don't think Kerrigan had this option, but it has +2 movement range. So while it doesn't have any boost in strength, for now it has 21 power. And there is another one somewhere, though I'm not entirely sure what the second fleet is. Maybe here? Yeah, here's the second fleet. Vowed Dolphins, which have 21 and they have combat 2. So I'm planning to build a couple more ships if it happens, but we're currently building the Lydian culture in Atalaya. I decided that it is time to get a couple of cultures, as we are literally we're spanning a pretty big portion of the planet. So it might be a good idea to start defining the cultures for us. So Atalaya is building the Lydian culture. We have just like 15 turns before we are done with the Clockpunk, I think. 10. Okay, so in 10 turns we're going to get the Clockpunk culture, which I'm looking for. That's going to come in the next upgrade. It's going to be a big, massive leap for us, because the ornithopters should allow us to project our power on many places. And I think we're also, yeah, you can see a lot of these animal farms and animal trainers, because we don't really have much to build. So I'm mostly relying on spreading bisons and oxen and horses everywhere where I can go. So that's the main thing that we have been doing right now. We're also running out of places to, to improve. But hey, that's what it is, So if we ever get to build the next city, a good place for it to build it would be in this area, because it's completely prepared. Or, of course, we could build it in this area after we raise the barbarian cities down. But as I mentioned, I'm not really planning any expansion for this point, because we are doing really good and we're getting massive penalties to unhappiness. Okay, with that said, I think we can end the turn and hear it up for commercial whaling.
Call me Ishmael.
Well, that's a really quick quote, and I don't even remember the meaning, even though I read Moby Dick. So this allows whaling boats to upgrade to whaling ships. We can build whaling ships. We get a bonus to Wonder of Nature Shark Bay, reveals whale oil, and we get rendering plant. Okay. We get a whale oil maker and a whaler's dock. And whale oil and whaling ships. Wow, that's interesting. A lot of boosts here. Screw prop power, weather forecasting, and naval cannon. And that's that. So Persia wants a work move, not gonna happen, and we have to set our research priorities for the next couple of turns, meaning the next episode. And to be quite honest, we are almost done. If we wanted to do the Renaissance lifestyle, it's just 10 technologies at this point, and that's really amazing. Okay, and we're gonna leave a couple behind, but I'm not gonna do that. But considering how far we got, we are really gonna do Renaissance soon, and I'm really looking forward to that, because I haven't ever even reached medieval lifestyle in this game, and I think I didn't even reach classical lifestyle. I think I ended in I definitely reached classical, but I never reached medieval. And not even close, and now we're gonna think about Renaissance, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, what are we gonna do? Well, I think we're gonna start with the plague medicine. That's something that I'm interested in, because it gives us doctors, and I'm not interested in that much because of the cities, but I'm interested in that because of the unit healing, because that is amazing. By the way, the situation with the damage to our trebuchets actually showed me that we need also the siege workers that I before kind of, I thought that we don't need them, but we definitely need them. So doctors and the siege workers, that's something that I need to add to my army. And it's going to give us some boosted disease control build-up. It's going to help all of our units because it gives additional reduction in disease. Then we could go with executions. That's a technology that is fairly quick, but it gives us the gallows. That obsoletes public stoning, but that isn't really that much. Crucifixion crosses. Okay, but and this is pretty much the gallows are just an upgrade to that. Simple as that. And I don't think it gives anything else. Yeah, it's just a one-trick pony. But we still want it. We do want executions. That sounds horrifying. That sentence was really bad. And yeah, we could do torture next. My god. So yeah, but I think torture is probably something that we might consider. We do have to get it because of the warrants and decrees, but what about tournaments? Circus Maximus gives Field of the Cloth, King's Tournament, and gives no, just Royal Tournament. And gives some gold and mounted units. Places Hyperdrome, which gave 1. Okay, that could be good. Or could we do acoustics? We could. No, acoustics I don't want to do. Anatomy might be good. Gives anatomy lab and mortuary. Okay, let's do anatomy. So we're gonna start with point medicine, then we're gonna do anatomy, and then we're gonna do executions. That actually sounds like a good way to go. Now the reason why I don't want acoustics and why I'm not going for perspective and charters is that I'm expecting another war with Mali, and we're getting quite a lot. You can see that we are, nearly halfway through perspective, even though we haven't invested into the technology at all. So the fact that we have point medicine and anatomy here available as a new research, while they give us during our fights information about these technologies, is a good way to go. And before I end, I wanted to check on rendering plant. Nice. Extra gold. Okay, so that actually is pretty good. Someone else, tamed horse. Can you do the rendering plant as well? You can, okay. Pretty much everyone can. And what about the cities that have whales? Here are whales. Whaling boats, yep, here upgrading. Actually working on the beadmaker. Yeah, whaler's dock here. The rendering plant. And convertible whale oil maker, which is going to give us what? Extra gold. Well, so we do have this available now, and that is pretty good. But what I wanted to show is the fact that I have completely forgot that I got 2 great engineers, and I even have another great prophet here, but he once again wants to discover voodoo, and I don't have any other great building that I could build here, so I could either put him into the city or just keep him there, maybe for a golden age or something like that. So I'm gonna do that. But what does the great engineer offer us? A perspective. It's not what I want. Can be researched by a great engineer, great merchant, torture, executions, anatomy, tournaments, acoustics, algebra, banking. Okay, so at this point we really can't get anything else. Okay, well then we just skip those guys. I guess that's all there is to it, because we just we can't really use them. And I mean, I could have them join to the city, but getting experience to worker and sea worker types is not exactly a good way to go. And I think that 2 cities grown. Yep, we are now at 3,803,000 people in our glorious empire. So thank you very much for joining me. It has been fun. We are the dominant power in the world, though the world is much, much bigger. And I'm hoping that we're going to continue with that. Hopefully more civilizations are going to flock to us to strengthen us and to make us happy. And if not, then we will just keep our people safe and growing. I'm thinking I might create another small army and send it to Russia and another one to Ethiopia. That might be a good idea too. It's going to mean that Constantinople is going to start growing, so we might want to send in some food trains. But I mean, we'll see. There's really no hurry for us in any of this, right? So, I'll see you next time with Blake Medicine. Oh, jolly.